All right, Coach. Recently at the tip-off luncheon, Director of Athletics Josh Hurd was describing you from the point of view of another coach. And that coach said he's not a 15-minute guy, he's an all-the-time guy. Has that always been the case? I picture little Pat Kelsey, unlimited motor, bouncing off the walls, driving mom and dad crazy. Was that the case?
You'd have to ask my mom that. I don't know if I totally drove her crazy, but throughout my life, whatever endeavor I'm involved with, I'm all in with 2 feet. I tell the story a lot growing up in Cincinnati in the 80s. Pete Rose, God rest his soul, was Cincinnati's favorite son, and they loved him so much because it's a blue-collar town, and they valued his grit and his toughness. The fact that he'd head first slide, spikes high into second. My mom was always about diving on the loose balls, not about winning or losing games. So I kind of carry that dive on the loose balls mentality into kind of everything I do.
Was it always basketball? I mean, a guy who's kind of 5'0" nothing, you think maybe soccer, baseball?
Yeah, no, I played everything growing up.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, my hometown's a big baseball town, so from the time I could walk, I played baseball. Played football almost from the time I can remember. I think I played when I was 7 up until my freshman year in high school, and then basketball kind of took over. I think that's where I found my true love. I think my best chance of playing college was in basketball. My dad was a college basketball player. Even though he's a businessman, I feel like I'm the son of a coach. The son of a coach kind of grows up at the breakfast table talking about the pick and roll. We also talk about delivering cars every once in a while, so I had my Matchbox cars lined up on the table, kind of like a car lot. But basketball was kind of in my crib as a child.
Was it always going to be basketball coaching for you down the road, or was the car dealership a possibility?
Well, I mean, I was a business major. I played for Skip Prosser, the late, great Skip Prosser, who was the head coach at Xavier and Wake Forest. And I was just lucky throughout my life to have a lot of male figures that really influenced me, starting with my father. I mentioned being a businessman, but also being a sports enthusiast and being a coach at heart. My high school coach, Joe Schoenfeld, who's been at Elder High School for 40 years, was in my wedding, extremely influential on me. Uncles, my grandfathers. But, it's just kind of found it, right? As I was finishing and realized that went into the business world for a little bit because getting into coaching's tough, right? Getting your foot in the door is difficult. And I realized every day I went to the office, I wanted to be in the gym. So my mentor used to say the gym's the greatest place you'll ever be. And we try to teach our guys every day to have gratitude in their heart for what we get to do, not what we have to do, what we get to do. To play this great game, to coach this great game, to live in this great city, and to represent this great university and athletic department and basketball program.
Skip Prosser was next on my list. Was he kind of the biggest influence for you as a coach and your philosophies and power of the unit and the importance of culture and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, he was a major influence. People that knew him would tell you he was a great coach. Won ACC championships, went to all kind of NCAA tournaments, coached all type of NBA players, but he was a better person than he was a coach. It was just how the character that he exemplified, the way he treated people, the way he lived his life, the way he taught. He thought of himself as a teacher first, which is what I try to do. I mean, I'm a coach, but I think the best coaches are really good teachers, and I try to be that.
About 8 years as an assistant, now your 14th year as a head coach. How do you feel like you've evolved as a coach during that time?
Well, I think anybody worth their salt is always trying to improve. Not only year by year, you mentioned the number of years I've been in this business, you just made me feel really old.
You're not.
But I just think having that mentality every day, to be somebody that's always striving to grow and striving to learn. There's always things to learn. I think when you stop learning, you stop growing. When you stop growing, you start dying, So that's one thing I love about teaching and coaching is that you can always be studying new ways, better ways, not only for the X's and O's, but, to motivate, to lead. And that's what I try to do.
The game itself has obviously evolved quite a bit in the last few years with NIL, transfer portal. Is it more of a challenge these days to get guys to buy in to the culture and the power of the unit when you have them for 1 year, 2 years at best in a lot of cases, as opposed to the 3 and 4 year guys you used to have?
Well, change is the only constant, right? Change is inevitable. So I think being able to adapt and evolve in any industry, whether it's coaching or whether it's the law firm, it doesn't matter. Any
Right.
business, you need to be able to adapt and change. I like the challenge, you know, and what I try to tell our team, I tell recruits, I tell our staff is, even though there's a higher percentage of guys that come into our program that may only be here for 1 year, we're not going to change. We're not going to change our true north, our principles, the core of our program, and that's the overall development of our players. You know, that power of the unit thing is powerful because, you know, I think it exemplifies culture, and I talk about culture all the time, but that ultimately is going to decide championships more than schematics and more than X's and O's. Those are important, but even though the era has changed, we don't change our principles, and that's that chemistry and that power of the unit, the love of teammates.
When you took this job, you knew a fair amount about Louisville basketball, obviously, and the passion of the fan base. They were starved for a winner after several down years. Has it been pretty much what you thought it would be? Have there been surprises along the way?
Well, I tell people all the time, I was surprised, although people told me how passionate this town is for basketball, and I knew that, but until you actually experience it, it's mind-blowing. You know, the amount of people that have come up to me since last year, and the first thing they say is, you know, thank you. And that's humbling, you know, and I say right back to them, thank you. They said, Coach, thanks for helping to bring us back, to restore pride in this program again. I just say, thank you for your passion. Thank you for your support. Thank you for accepting me into this community. And that's a core of our program, too, to never delay gratitude. You know, when you talk to people from this fan base and in this community, you realize really quickly how deep the roots run and how one of the threads that tie the fabric of this town together is the love and the passion of Louisville basketball, Louisville athletics. And I think it's like few places in the country. There's a lot of passionate college towns, college sports towns, but I don't think there's a more passionate college sports city than the great city of Louisville.
You've talked about being a lot more settled, I guess, now than you were maybe at this point a year ago. It was just constant from the time you took the job. How has that helped going into this year? Your family's here, they're settled?
Well, yeah, you know, when you transition, you make a move and you change and you move family and you change schools and you're finding new houses, it's a little chaotic. So I always talk about, you know, juggling that with kind of reviving the program last year, which was an around-the-clock job as well. It made it a little bit nicer that the personal part of my life was more in order this year. It's been great. We love living here. You know, I'm from up the road in Cincinnati, which is a river town. Different, but there's a lot of similarities. There's a Catholic church on every street corner, it seems like there is in the west side of Cincinnati. So in a lot of ways, I feel comfortable as if I'm home. I've been down in the Carolinas for the better part of 2 decades. But to be back, I know people get mad if we say the Midwest. It's not the Midwest. It's kind of the South Midwest, right? What do they say? Midwest sensibilities with Southern charm or something like that? I'll go with it. That sounds good. But no, it's been great.
You've got kids playing sports. Is it harder to watch your team play or harder to be in the stands watching them play?
Totally different. I try my best when I go to my kids' games to just sit there. You know, well, I mean, I'll cheer like crazy, but, you know, it's just nice to be at a contest where I'm not responsible for who plays and who doesn't play, what we're running, what we're not running, the adjustments we need to make, and just to sit back and watch the joy on my kids' face when they're out there competing. And, you know, I love to do that. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do.
This year's group, you seem to really like from what you've seen so far. How much do guys change, or how much do you see a difference maybe once the games start and the lights come on and I didn't think this guy would do this?
Yeah, I think, what do they say? The game doesn't build character, it reveals it. Yeah. Not game character, right? Yeah. So you find a lot more, Mike Tyson said one time, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right.
And, and I think it's going to be changing, but the hard thing right now with college basketball is we all get together the first week of June, all of us, all the programs around the country, and then we don't go up against somebody different besides ourselves until this time of year, right? Late October, early November. And you find so much about your team when you're getting out there and you're competing under the lights against another team. So I'm looking forward to seeing how our team grows and how they respond when those lights come on.
Kansas to open the exhibition season, that used to be, as you talked about, behind closed doors, and you could kind of work things the way you wanted to. Do you like that it's more of a game situation in front of lots of fans?
Do I like it better? Well, it doesn't matter. I call it the advantage of no choice. It's just how it is now. You have the option to play some behind-the-scenes stuff where you're, it's not on social media, it's not on TV. Guys can make mistakes. You can experiment with other things. And we're going to do those type of experimenting in these exhibitions. But it's two of the best, biggest, most famous brands in college basketball going head-to-head on the biggest stage under the biggest lights right from the beginning. So why not? It'll be fun. I know our fan base is excited about it. Our players are excited about it. So am I.
And are you excited about the schedule? You got UK early, UC, an old rival of yours. You got Arkansas. You got Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's quite a non-conference schedule.
Yeah, and then I think we have the Lakers, and then the Celtics, and then the Bulls. Yeah. So, I say this all the time. People get tired of hearing it. You can't sharpen your teeth eating oatmeal. We're going to find a whole heck of a lot about ourselves during this non-conference slate and play against great teams, great programs, big stages. It's only going to make us better. But I'm not worrying about those games right now. I'm worrying about the one that's right in front of us. And everybody knows that's ever interviewed me or listened to one of my interviews. I get really boring when it comes to that because I'm such a believer in what's right in front of you and adhering to that process.
Just finally, you've talked a lot about being a Reds fan. You already mentioned Pete Rose. I'm reading a biography of Pete Rose, which is really good.
Yeah.
But he was a little before your time as a player. Don't give me the answer to this. Was there a player growing up that was a favorite of yours? I want to try to guess.
What is cool being a Reds fan, first of all, in this town, just because of the bats and the affiliation to the Reds being the AAA franchise. I got to go into the clubhouse, meet Pat Kelsey last year, gotten to know the front office down there. They invited me down for the winter caravan when Terry Francona and some of the Reds came into town. Yeah. It was so cool, and I've struck up a pretty cool coaching friendship with Tito, which has been awesome. But yeah, Pete Rose was probably my favorite player growing up. Eric Davis, number 44, wiggled his bat. You know what I mean? That 19
Chris Sabo guy.
Chris Sabo. I have Halloween one year. I dressed up like Sabo and wore the Rex specs. And 1990 World Series run. Yeah, so it's nice to be right at the road, and I can jump up to a Reds game every once in a while.
Very cool. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Tom.
Appreciate your time.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you very much.